Hi, this is Vicky from vickycharles.com and you're listening to my podcast. Thanks for listening. Today is the first time that I've actually published this podcast on my new site, vickycharles.com. Previously, it was all on my personal site, singlemotherahoy.com. In future, I am intending to move all the show notes from singlemotherahoy.com across to vickycharles.com so that you can see it all in the same place, but that's kind of a work in progress at the moment. Eventually, all of the show notes will be available on vickycharles.com/podcast, but that's something I'm working towards. For now, let's get on with the show. This week's show is a list of 4 things, just little tweaks that Facebook are making to make your experience better, basically, like they're always doing. So there's 4 things that they've kind of changed recently I thought I'd tell you about. The first is the option to see first. So this is something you can encourage your fans to do on your page, but it's also something you can do to customize your own news feed and make sure that the pages and posts that you're seeing are things that you're really interested in. Help to cut out all the kind of noise and rubbish, really. So if you're doing it for a page, you would go to that page, and under the button at the bottom of the cover photo, there's a button for liked. For like, and where you've liked the page already, it will say like. If you hover your mouse over the down button next to that, you can click see first. I think normally it's already kind of checked to default, but you can click see first, and what that will do is it will put all of the posts from that page at the top of your news feed. Now that can be handy, obviously, if you can encourage your followers to do that, more people are going to see your posts, but also if there's something you're interested in, if there's a specific person that you're following, if there's an event going on and you don't want to miss anything, you can kind of tack people to the top of your timeline so you see those new posts first on your newsfeed and you're not going to miss anything. And I think that's really quite handy for certain situations. And you can also do it as a temporary fix, so you can always go back and change it later if you kind of get bored of seeing it or the event's finished or something. You can also do this in a much more detailed way by going to the little down arrow at the top right of your screen. For those of us who have a page, it is the little arrow that you would use next to your notifications that allows you to flick between pages. So when you click the arrow, your list of pages comes up, but on the menu below that, there are several other options, and one of them is newsfeed preferences. So then when you click that, a little box opens up and it tells you the people, groups and pages that you were on most last week, that you saw most last week. Now this is still, I think, a work in progress. It's not working 100% for me, because certainly when I've checked it this week, the pages it says that I've seen the most are pages I didn't even remember that I'd liked. So it is a work in progress and they're still tweaking at it. But even so, it can still be really useful because you can look at who you've got on your page, who you've liked. You can kind of go through and pick it out like a menu, like I think I'd like to hear more from that person, I'd like to see less of that person. And it also tells you who you've muted from your newsfeed, which can be interesting. If somebody's annoyed you and you've kind of thrown them in Facebook jail, like I don't want to unfriend you, but I don't want to see what you're talking about. Sometimes you can forget that you've done that to them, and then you think, oh, I've not heard from that person for a while, and it's because they're kind of languishing under the hide button. You can go and see who you've hidden, and you can unhide those people, which can be really handy, I think, because it's not something that you don't automatically go and look for, oh, who have I hidden? Should I go and check that? But if you're doing this, you can kind of have a look as well and see. The second thing I want to talk to you about is the idea of making saved replies for your page. So I don't know if you're aware, but Facebook have set up this thing whereby it tracks how many messages you get, how long it takes you to respond to them, and how many you do respond to at all. And I think you can work towards getting like a little button or something on your page that says that you open and read all your messages and respond to them within a certain amount of time, which obviously is good for users. But since it's a 24-hour thing, if somebody in the States or a different country sends you a message in the middle of the night and you don't get it until 9 o'clock the next morning, you've got no chance on that. So it's been a bit of an unpopular one, that one, but I think they're working on it still. But you can set up saved replies to give yourself a bit more of a fighting chance, and also so that you just kind of don't appear rude, to be honest. So if you go into your messages on your page, into the actual screen, not like the pop-up, and click on any message, it will give you an option for saved replies on the left hand side, and then you can click manage replies, and you can see they've already put some kind of bog standard hi, I'll answer your question later or something. You can add to those, you can edit them, you can change it. So if you run a business and you are constantly getting the same questions, if you've got a lot of FAQs, you can set up a saved response for those. Although I would say if you run a business or you sell a product and you're always getting the same question, it might be worth putting the answer to that question kind of preemptively in the text where you're advertising it to avoid that happening. But, you know, everybody gets kind of the same sort of question. And you could also do kind of a generic one that's something like, oh, hi, thanks for your message. I get a lot of messages. Here are some of the most common answers, blah, blah, blah. I hope that helps. If not, please do reply. And that way you're kind of hopefully killing off a percentage of your messages by giving them a response that says, okay, here are some, you know, answers. Hopefully that's helped, blah, blah. You kind of you're being friendly about it. You're answering quicker than if you had to sit down and type out a response every single time. You're kind of hitting that mark a bit better. The third thing is the idea that Facebook learns your preferences. Now, obviously, you know, we know that Facebook learns a lot of things. I was reading yesterday about this, the idea, you know, when you see something on your newsfeed and you select to hide it, Facebook takes that as a very strong indication that you really do not want to see that content. Now, for me, I know it takes a lot for me to bother to go and hide some content. It has to be something really inappropriate, or it's like, God, you're really annoying me with that now, or I really don't want to see this. It's not just, oh, that's a bit boring, because I'll just scroll past that. But if it's really irritating me, really, you know, upsets me or something, then I'll select to hide it. And that's true for a lot of people. There are some people who will hide a large percentage of the stuff on their newsfeed. Quite often, even after they've liked or commented on it, they'll still hide it. I'm guessing perhaps people do this as a way of managing their newsfeed, because quite often you can like and comment on things and then they show up in your newsfeed again later and you end up scrolling past things you've already kind of read and dealt with. So anyway, there are these people out here who hide an awful lot of content. And Facebook has changed. They've kind of set up something that recognises, oh, you're one of these people that hides everything. Because normally when you hide content, Facebook then says, oh, you don't want to see that, I won't show it to you anymore. And you never see stuff like that again, whatever it is that you've hidden, whether it's something from a specific person, a specific type of business, a specific type of picture, it learns it. With these people who hide an awful lot, Facebook is learning, oh, you just like to hide a lot of things. We won't let that affect what we show you then. So hopefully that will mean that if anybody's ever hidden one of your posts, but they've continued to like and share and comment on your pieces, then that you won't be penalised for that. They'll still be shown it, which is kind of handy. And also probably handy for the people who do go around hiding an awful lot of content. If you're one of these people that hides a lot of content, I'd love to hear the reason behind it, because the only reason I can think of is to kind of tidy up your newsfeed. And Facebook, from their posts that they put up, certainly sound a bit perplexed by it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. So the last thing I want to talk about is kind of a bigger one than all the others. It is the new video tools that Facebook have put in. So everyone's going to be aware by now that Facebook don't like for us to leave Facebook. They like for us to spend all of our time on there. So previously you would go to YouTube and upload your video, maybe do it with editing, put a title on it, and then you would share the link across to Facebook. And people would see it that way. Facebook doesn't like for us to do that. Facebook wants us to host our videos on Facebook. So they're doing everything they can to make it nicer and easier for us to do that. So the first thing that I noticed about this was that you can now have a featured video, I think it's called a featured video, at the top of your page. It appears next to your About section, and you can choose any of your videos to go in that spot. So if you're highlighting something at the moment, if you've made a vlog that you're really proud of, maybe your latest vlog or something, you can stick it in that top box and it's at the top of your profile page. They've also done an awful lot of other things. They've done custom thumbnails so that you can kind of customize the way that your video looks, which is really handy because, you know, sometimes you just get lumped with a thumbnail and it's always of you with like your eyes closed or your mouth open or pulling a face or something really unattractive. You can change that and have it something nice. You can prohibit embedding videos onto third-party sites, so people can't share your video without having to share your page. Basically, they can't just embed your video somewhere else and take the credit for it or get the traffic for it. The traffic has to come to your page to see it, which is always good. You can categorize your videos, so you can say, oh, these are my videos about dogs, and these are my videos about cats, and these are my videos about chimpanzees, or whatever. You can categorize them so that they're not just in one stream. You know, when you go to someone's YouTube channel, if you subscribe to their YouTube channel and you go through their videos, quite often it's kind of all manner of things all lumped in together. With Facebook now, you can separate them out, and they're really kind of pushing that side of things, that you can organise things a bit better, like you would with your pictures, basically, because it's highly unlikely that you're going to have made 50 videos all on the same topic. You can split them out a bit. They've also done this thing where you can exclude a video from your timeline and your newsfeed, or you can make a secret video so people can only see it via a URL. So that's great if you're getting people to opt into things, or you're selling exclusive content. You can do that. You can make a video, host it on Facebook, but not actually show it to your fans and not actually make it visible to people, unless they have a URL, which obviously they then get when they log in or pay for something or something like that. One of the most interesting things about this is the idea of expiring posts, which is something I noticed ages ago on my publishing tools and just thought, well, what is that? And then I sort of started to look into it, and you can set a video. So you could, if you're running an offer, for example, and you can say, this offer runs out on Friday, and then on Friday you can, or before Friday, obviously, but when you put the video up, you can set it so that on Friday, the video disappears. So there's no question about whether this offer is still running. The video's disappeared. The video then will either go into your drafts or you can delete it completely. Once you've deleted it completely, you can't get it back. But you can have it sit in your drafts and maybe use it again in a couple of months for an offer that ends on a Friday or something. I think it's really handy, and it's something that obviously Facebook are really kind of going all out with this with their video tools to make it, they want it to be better than YouTube. They want you to use Facebook instead of YouTube, and they're doing everything they can to make that happen. I am waiting for the day that they roll out live streaming to real people rather than just celebrities, because I think it's a bit elitist at the moment, and with things like Meerkat and is it Blab, the other one, and of course Periscope, they're not really competing at all in that market, so I'm hoping they're going to go get around to that. But in the meantime, they're doing a lot with their videos to make it a lot easier to use, and really kind of be a contender against YouTube, I think. So that's definitely something to bear in mind if you're having videos, because it also means that you don't have to have people kind of doing a wild goose chase around the web of, I've put this video up and you're on my Facebook page, but I'm going to direct you to YouTube, or I'm going to direct you to here. And then, you want people to kind of stay with you where you are rather than going on a wild goose chase all around the place. And I think that's what they're working towards. So those were 4 top tips, or 4 new things that are going on with Facebook at the moment. I'd love to know your thoughts if you've tried any of them, what you thought of them. And also, if there's anything else new that you've heard about, I'd love to hear about that too. I will be back next week with another podcast. In the meantime, you can find the show notes for this show and soon every other show at vickycharles.com/podcast. If you'd like to tweet me, I am at VickyCWrites, or I'm also on Facebook. Just search for vickycharles.com. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next week.